Thank you, Roy. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Katia Rembert, and I am honored to serve Goucher College as your Associate Director of Equity and Inclusive Excellence. In this role, I oversee the Center for Race, Equity, and Identity, as well as the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life. To the graduates, faculty, staff, family, friends, administrators, and other honored guests, we welcome you here to the Habler Memorial Chapel, and we are excited to have you join us for our baccalaureate service today. Class of 2026, hi. Congratulations! This weekend, we will have the official conferring of your degrees, and you will cross the grand stage to receive your diplomas. I know you can't wait. But today, we take one moment to reflect on your time here at Goucher and to honor all that you have accomplished. The tradition of the baccalaureate service began, like many traditions in academia, a long time ago, and in a place and time that is very different from where we are today. It is believed that the first baccalaureate was held at Oxford University in England in 1432. At the time, instead of a capstone project that you all diligently completed a few weeks ago, each candidate for graduation was required to give a sermon in Latin in front of the entire institution. Only then was the student permitted to graduate and commence or begin their status as a holder of a degree. But don't worry, there will be no sermons today. There will be no Latin, as far as I know. Instead, here at Goucher, we continue this tradition by celebrating the spiritual, cultural, and artistic diversity of our graduates with poetry, music, and reflection. You will hear from one of your fellow graduates, Sierra Nicole Stokes, and this year's baccalaureate speaker, Dr. April Ottinger, whose impact here at Goucher is unmatched by many. I'm grateful to both of you for accepting this honor. And we're not going to cry today, okay? Thank you. Today's ceremony will be led by the Reverend Dr. Alicia Wimbush. As the program director for religious leaders at the Institute for Islamic, Christian, and Jewish Studies, she oversees programming for clergy, chaplains, and spiritual caregivers. Under her leadership, ICJS launched this chaplain outreach initiative following a statewide survey conducted in partnership with the Chaplaincy Innovation Lab that identified chaplains as an underserved sector. She also leads Common Ground, Clergy, Conversation Connections, a statewide program that brings together religiously diverse clergy to build lasting relationships through quarterly conversations over the span of a year. Grounded in a pastoral theology of presence and mutual care, Alicia approaches interreligious work as a practice of listening deeply and cultivating culture across difference. In addition to her work in ministry and interreligious dialogue, Alicia is an artist and dancer. Her doctoral research explored liturgical dance as a therapeutic and spiritual space for African American Christian women. She's a trained dancing mindfulness facilitator and has experience in liturgical dance and community theater with Dance and Be More. As a visual artist, she works in acrylic and oil, exploring themes of spirituality, womanhood, nature, and African American culture. Alicia holds a Bachelor of Arts in Social Work from Messiah College and earned her Master's in Divinity and Doctor of Theology and Pastoral Care and Counseling from Columbia Theological Seminary in Decatur, Georgia. She has more than 20 years of leadership experience in nonprofit and congregational settings. I now ask that you all please rise as you are able as I invite the Reverend Dr. Alicia Wimbush to give invocation.
Thank you, Katia.
Of course.
I am so glad to be here with you all. I remember some 20 years ago being in the space that you all are in, graduates, and how nerve-wracking that can be, how exciting it can be. But today, I invite you to reflect on the 4, 5, maybe 6 years that you spent here at Goucher. And I want this to be a moment where you can reflect, where you can think about your highs and lows, where you can think about the people that you met here, the lessons that you learned. And so I'm going to give this invocation in a spirit of remembrance and gratitude. And however you feel called to either pray or meditate, or just stand still and listen, whatever feels comfortable to you, I invite you to listen and reflect. As we gather here, celebrating the journey and accomplishments of the Goucher class of 2026, we come in a spirit of remembrance and gratitude. We give thanks for these students who have dedicated their time over these years to learning, exploring, discovering, and preparing for their vocation. We ask that today, as they reflect on all they have been through, the ups and downs, the questions, the confirmations, the twists and the turns of this educational journey, that they do so holding on to gratitude for the opportunity to learn and grow, to be change makers in this world. I thank you for the community of parents and friends and faculty and staff that have gathered around them to witness this significant milestone in their life. It is my hope that this time of reflection and remembering and celebrating will carry them through the journey before them. You may be seated. We will now have our welcome from President Kent Devereaux, followed by a land acknowledgement by Katia Rembert.
Good afternoon, and welcome this year's Goucher College Baccalaureate. So Baccalaureate celebrates the diverse life experiences and faith traditions present within the Goucher community. Some might say, I thought Goucher College was a non-religiously affiliated institution, so what are we doing in a chapel? And you would be right to ask that question. However, the relationship between religion, or more broadly, faith, in Goucher College, and indeed religion in all of higher education, is far more multifaceted and nuanced. In fact, it's a relationship that goes all the way back to the ancient Greece. The Greek term paideia refers to the total education of a citizen, an education aimed at cultivating the whole person, mind, body, and the soul. In classical Greece, this meant a cultivation of mind and character through philosophy, rhetoric, mathematics, music, and physical training. The Romans inherited and reframed this legacy as the liberal arts, ultimately distilled into the canonical 7 liberal arts. The trivium, consisting of grammar, rhetoric, and logic, the tools of language and reasoning, and the quadrivium, comprising arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, the numbers-based studies, or the way I like to think of it, the Roman equivalent of STEM. In turn, medieval Europe adopted this framework in cathedral and monastic schools, where the trivium provided the method for reading scripture, and the quadrivium opened paths to understanding the created order. By the 12th and 13th centuries, these schools evolved into universities in Paris, Bologna, and Oxford, where you heard the baccalaureate tradition began. As the higher education took root in the new American colonies, religion and higher education once again were tightly intertwined. Colleges were founded by religious denominations to train clergy and cultivate learned, morally upright leaders. Congregationalists founded Harvard, Yale, and Dartmouth. Episcopalians, William and Mary. Presbyterians founded Princeton. The Baptist, Brown, Catholics, Georgetown, Jews, Brandeis University, and elsewhere. And so you see that tradition of religion and higher education emerged in America. So Goucher College was no different. Founded in 1885 as the Women's College of Baltimore City by Reverend John Franklin Goucher of the First Methodist Episcopal Church and his wife, Mary Fisher. Goucher was part of a larger effort by Methodist Church to expand educational opportunities throughout America, including founding many higher education institutions that today, like Goucher, we might not think of as religious institutions at all. For example, Boston University, Northwestern University, and American University, all Methodist universities at their start, today not affiliated at all. So you see, from the outside, Goucher's curriculum was ambitious, including physics, biology, astronomy, mathematics, languages, history, and philosophy, modeled after the rigor of nearby Johns Hopkins University, which at that time excluded women. And over the years, while the college long ago severed any direct connection to the Methodist Church, our focus is providing access to those who otherwise might be denied an education has remained. Now, I won't say that commitment has always been steadfast. Sometimes Goucher College has gotten it right. For example, when it broke from the historic connection to the church and chose evolution over creationism in the 1920s. Or in the 1930s and 40s, when it was one of the few women's colleges to admit Jewish students with no quotas. And yet, Goucher College didn't admit African American students until 1955. So today, as you graduates know very, very well, Goucher looks different than in years past. As one of the most diverse liberal arts colleges in America, Goucher's student body consists of students from across America and around the world. Indeed, 61 different countries are represented on our campus, and adherence to a diverse spectrum of religious faiths present within our student body. Which brings us back to today and this chapel, and the reasons we gather here to honor, give thanks, and reflect on what these last 4 years have meant for all of you, the class of 2026. In a deeper, more spiritual sense, it's a time for us all, and for our graduates especially, to reflect upon our place within the world, to appreciate the work we've done, the doors opened by those who came before you that have allowed you to have the opportunity to attend college and the privilege of attending Goucher College. But most of all, just to be present within this space, to be truly here. Goucher College, class of 2026, you have repeatedly proven your determination, your intelligence, and your resilience. Whether that's challenging our faculty with new ideas, forging enduring friendships over shared meals in Mary Fisher, engaging in student organizations, clubs, or athletic teams, you leave here now better prepared to realize your true potential. Class of 2026, on this day, at this moment, pause, reflect, be here, and then be that change maker we all know that you will become. We'll be cheering you on.
Goucher College occupies unceded land within the geographic sphere of influence of the Susquehannock tribe who maintained a kinship with this land and the Susquehanna River. We pay our tributes to the indigenous elders and tribal members of past, present, and future generations. We also honor the enslaved people who lived and worked on this very land in the 18th and 19th centuries, land that Goucher College bought and built upon in the 20th century, and where we gather today in the 21st century to celebrate this baccalaureate. We'll now have Reverend Dr. Alicia Wimbush back to the pulpit.
I now invite you to our call to reflection. It is found in your program. Please read the bolded section. We are here poised on the brink of an ending and a beginning, ready to embrace what is in store for each and every one of us. We pause at the edge of the unknown. In this moment, as we prepare to leave our familiar home and embark on something new, we ask that the presence of peace be upon us. Grant us peace in the transition. We gather with grateful hearts for the many gifts, hard work, and dedication that has led us to this day. We honor those who have gone before us. We gather to show our gratitude in readings and prayers, in music and in silence. Let us prepare our hearts for this time of reverence. Let light shine upon this gathering as we come to celebrate a new beginning. And now I would like to invite graduating senior Nessa Rose Brooks to offer a selection of poetry, followed by Lindsay Johnson, who will introduce the student speaker.
Famous, by Naomi Shihab Nye. The river is famous to the fish. The loud voice is famous to silence, which knew it would inherit the earth before anybody said so. The cat sleeping on the fence is famous to the birds watching him from the birdhouse. The tear is famous, briefly, to the cheek. The idea you carry close to your bosom is famous to your bosom. The boot is famous to the earth, more famous than the dress shoe, which is famous only to floors. The bent photograph is famous to the one who carries it, and not at all famous to the one who is pictured. I want to be famous to shuffling men who smile while crossing streets, sticky children in grocery lines, famous as the one who smiled back. I want to be famous in the way a pulley is famous, or a buttonhole, not because it did anything spectacular, but because it never forgot what it could do.
Sorry. Went the wrong direction. Throughout her time at Goucher, Sierra Nicole Stokes has demonstrated exceptional dedication and leadership to the college. Over the past 2 years, she has served as an ARSHT presidential diplomat, representing the college at various events, asking thoughtful and engaging questions with special guests and distinguished alumnae and alumni, and within the cohort of ARSHT diplomats, exploring the concepts of leadership and ethics with great curiosity. She has also been an active member of the campus community, serving in various leadership roles in campus clubs and with the Black Student Union, and consistently making the Dean's List. She has shared with us her talents as an artist, a dancer, and a photographer. Her commitment to campus advocacy and social justice is evident through her work as a community service fellow in my office, the Office of Community-Based Learning, where she helped design and launch our Discovery Days micro-experience program, expanding the portfolio of volunteer experiences available to Goucher students in the Baltimore region. From working with farms to animal shelters to food insecurity programs, Sierra has been an integral part of the student leadership team in CBL and has contributed greatly to the co-curricular programming that we offer. She has earned her social and behavioral research certificate and had the enriching opportunity to study abroad in Milan, Italy. Sierra will be inducted into Alpha Kappa Delta, the International Honor Society of Sociology, in recognition of her academic excellence and dedication to the field. Additionally, she was awarded the Betty Cooper Wallerstein 58 Prize in Sociology, as selected by the Department of Sociology and Anthropology in honor of her outstanding contributions. And it's not just within Goucher that she shines. Sierra Nicole was a recipient of the Walter Sondheim Jr. and Maryland Nonprofit Leadership Program, where she completed an internship with Baltimore Corps and earned a citation from the state of Maryland for her public service. She also served as an American Heart Association ambassador and received the Empowered to Serve Scholarship. And a little bird told me that she once was almost a Disney Channel actress. What can't Sierra do? Next, she plans to spend a gap year working as a research assistant in maternal health before beginning her PhD in sociology in spring of 2027. Congratulations, Sierra. I am thrilled to welcome you to the stage, and I'm so proud of you.
Okay, guys, please bear with me. I don't have my glasses, and I'm a crybaby, so there's that. It's a lot of pages, okay. Nope, all right. Okay, boom. Hi, guys. Okay, so good evening to the Goucher faculty, staff, and trustees who kept the lights on and the coffee brewing, to the families who drove, flew, and FaceTime they were here today, and to each of my fellow graduates, welcome to the second or even third to last time anyone can make you sit quietly and listen to someone at a podium. Enjoy while it lasts. Before I go any further, I have to send a shout out to where I come from, Atlanta, Georgia, home of the Braves, home of bass music that you feel in your chest before you hear it, home of the best food you'll ever put in your mouth, and most importantly, home of Southern hospitality. The kind of warmth where strangers call you baby and mean it. I carried all of that with me when I came to Goucher, and I'm carrying it out of here today. Now, I have a confession to make. I almost didn't stay. When I was first looking at colleges, I had a picture in mind. Friday night lights, packed stadiums, cookouts that stretched into the evening, sororities and fraternities, the full, loud, big university experience. And for a black girl from Atlanta, Georgia, there was another option on the table, an HBCU. A community built specifically for people who look like me, steeped in legacy and culture and belonging. Goucher was the opposite of all of that. Small, quiet, no football team, no Greek row, and there were moments I won't pretend there weren't, where I felt the FOMO creeping in, where I wondered if I had made the wrong choice, where I pulled up other schools' Instagram pages at midnight like that was gonna help anything. But here's what I learned. Goucher was always the right fit. I just need to craft into what I wanted it to be. And I could not have figured that out alone. I just had to find my Get Fresh crew who supported that dream. And through conversations, through check-ins that turned into real talk, through laughs in offices, doorways that I did not expect and did not plan for, through Katia who saw me, through Professor Sebla who pushed the hell out of me, through Professor Patty Ginsburg who challenged how I thought and then celebrated when I got it right, through Dr. Swan, Dr. Fletcher, and Professor Sadie who reminded me that rigorous and warm are not opposites, through Miss Nancy Nettles who showed up for me in ways I still think about, to Lindsay and Liz, who whipped me into shape. Through all 4 years of my campus moms. And lastly, to Dr. Turner, who always gave space for me to rest. Sorry. Okay, I told you I was a crybaby. And there's so many more, too many to name on an evening like this one, but every single one of you knows who you are. Those connections, those check-ins, those laughs, that is what makes it worth it in the long run. Not the size of the campus, not the Friday night lights I didn't have, but the people, the realness, and the fact that at Goucher you are not a student ID number. You are a person, and people here actually treat you like one. Now, when I was asked to speak today, I kept coming back to one word, uncomfortable. And I want to be clear where that word comes from for me because it didn't just start at Goucher. My parents have been telling me since middle school, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. They didn't say it once. They said it in ways that parents say things that matter, repeatedly, patiently, until it finally sinks in. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Don't run from it. Lean into it. I thought I understood what they meant, and then I got to Goucher and I actually lived it. 4 years ago, most of us arrived here carrying some version of a carefully assembled identity. We knew who we were. We had opinions, and we were pretty attached to them. And then Goucher said, great, now let's complicate that. I remember sitting in a class and being asked to defend a position I had never even considered. I stumbled, I contradicted myself. I walked out of that room genuinely unsure of something I thought I had been certain about my entire life. It was uncomfortable. It was also, I now understand exactly the point. Because discomfort is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is a sign that you are growing. My parents knew that when I was 12, and Goucher confirmed it when I was 20-something, sitting in a seminar room, humbled and better for it. We studied abroad and got lost in cities where nothing worked the way we expected. We wrote papers that came back with more reading than the original text. We joined things and failed publicly in front of people we respected. We had conversations across differences, political, cultural, generational, that didn't end neatly. None of that was easy, but all of it made us better. To the families in the room, I want you to know that we have been prepared. Not just qualified, but prepared. The person you are walk across the stage on Sunday has learned to sit with complexity, to ask better questions, and not to panic when the answer isn't obvious. You should be very proud of them. They earned it. And to my classmates, I want to leave you with 3 things. First, keep asking questions, even when it's easier to nod. The world rewards people who go along quietly. Resist that. Goucher taught us that inquiry is an act of courage. Second, let yourself be changed by people who are different from you. Seek out rooms where you are not the loudest or the most uncertain voice. That discomfort, that's the good stuff. Your parents might have told you the same thing mine told me. Trust it. And third, most importantly, please rest. You are not a machine. The world will still need you tomorrow, and it will need you whole. Goucher gave us something rare, a place where rigor and genuine care for people were not in conflict, where a professor reminded you of your name or remembered you, where a staff member checked in on you not because it was their job, but because they meant it. I came here from Atlanta not knowing quite what I was looking for, but I found something I didn't even know to ask for. So class of 2026, we have been uncomfortable, we have been challenged, we have been shaped by this place and by each other in ways we probably can't even put into words yet. But that is enough. That is more than enough. Go be uncertain about things. Go be curious. Go be the best and kind person who makes the room more honest. And if you ever need to find me, I'll be back at ATL, or maybe wherever the wind takes me, eating good food and turning up the bass. Congratulations, y'all. We're almost there. Thank you.
Sierra, that was beautiful. I'm 43 years old, and you have a lot more wisdom than I did at that age. So I was taking notes from you. Thank you. That was beautiful. We're now going to have an introduction of the baccalaureate speaker by Dwayne Barnes.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to introduce Dr. April Ollinger for this year's Goucher 2026 Baccalaureate Graduation Ceremony. Dr. April Ollinger is a professor of art history and visual culture, the Cushing Distinguished Professor of the Humanities, and director of the Swerin Rogan Institute for the Study of the Book at Goucher College. This year marks her 20th year as a faculty here on this campus. Her research explores the cultural history of landscape, Venetian Renaissance art, Renaissance print culture, and the history of science in early modern era. She is the co-editor of Green's World in Early Modern Italy, Art and the Verdant Earth from Amsterdam University Press in 2019, Nature Body Forth, The Matter in Making in Early Modern Europe. Her book, Animating Nature, Lorenzo Lotto, and the Art of Landscape in Venus from 1500s to 1550 will be published through Penn State University Press in winter 2027. Grants from the Fulbright Foundation, the Warburg Institute at the University of London, the Delmas Foundation, the Renaissance Society of America, the American Philosophical Society, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and a Mellon Fellowship at the Center for Advanced Studies at the National Gallery has supported research over the years. At Goucher, Dr. Ollinger chairs the Visual and Material Culture program launched in 2019. In collaboration with her department colleagues, Goucher's Special Collection and Archives, Goucher's exhibition programs, and colleagues across academic disciplines, the Visual and Material Culture program immerses students in the hands-on learning through interdisciplinary exhibitions drawn from Goucher's rediscovered art and artifact collections. This initiative has been supported by institutional grants for the National Endowment for the Humanities from 2021 through 2023 and the Institute of Museum and Library Service from 2024 to 2025. She is happily married and a proud mom of 2 young men, one who just completed his sophomore year in college and a rising senior in high school. I couldn't thank her all the time I had with her, not only as a faculty, mentor, advisor, and a chair of the Visual Material Culture program, but also the greatest professor I ever had and a great friend. As of now, I'll allow her to do the honors.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dwayne. Fellow travelers, on behalf of the faculty, I send warm greetings and heartfelt congratulations on the eve of your graduation. I'm honored to be here today to share this magical moment, this moment betwixt and between, this time suspended out of time, or you might say, a moment full of feels. Here we pause at the threshold to ponder your adventures along the way, to celebrate the teachers, coaches, faith leaders, counselors, friends, and family who walked by your side, and most of all, to savor and celebrate this wondrous journey that brought you to this place. Now, as my students know, I am passionate about the history of words and images and the way that words, like images, shape-shift and produce different meanings as they travel through time and across cultures. You already know this, not only because you honed your analytical, critical eye at Goucher, but also because you grew up in an age of memes. Those fluid agents of memory, catalysts of culture and community, the glue of lived experience and human empathy, elixirs of laughter. So in the spirit of this brief meditation on the mnemonic power of words and images, I propose we consider the word baccalaureate. The word has two parts, bacca, laureate. First, bacca. Now, as I was reading through this speech to my 17-year-old son, he started to laugh, and he said, "Low key, Mom, that is a TikTok video." I don't know if anyone knows about it. He's 5 years behind you all. But the lesson here is that always seek advice from the younger generations. That is not only my son, but he's a younger generation from you. And seek advice from all generations, your elders. Everybody has valuable insights to add to the conversation. So, as for me, I really wanted the first part of the word to have something to do with Bacchus. Because as in that ancient god of fun, and yes, wine, you knew him well if you grew up reading Percy Jackson. How perfect to imagine yourselves as cavorting fauns and maenads who spin on the tips of your toes in the forest clearing and hop across the stream in reverie, or whatever it is you do in the Goucher woods. It turns out that the origins of the word are shrouded in mystery, for it bears multiple potential meanings. The word bacca derives from ancient and medieval sources. It could be the small stone fruit of trees, baccae, cherries, or olives, for instance. More colloquially, the word sometimes refers to a staff or a spear, a bacculum in Latin, carried by a young squire in training to be a knight. In other words, bachelors. In this sense, imagine yourselves as ripening fruit on a branch, or a young knight who boldly sets out in the world with a rod or spear in hand. So, okay, Bacca isn't Bacchus, after all, and our takeaway is never make assumptions about anything. It's a lesson from your Goucher education. Use your analytical skills well, wisely, and often. Then there's laureate. On the meaning of that word, I guessed correctly.
Think of the National Youth Poet Laureate, for instance, the amazing Amanda Gorman, or the expression, "Don't rest on your laurels," except for this weekend, of course, because I think right now you fully deserve to rest on your laurels and celebrate a lot. The word laureate has arboreal roots, both literally and figuratively, for the word refers to the laurel tree. Across cultures, laurel bears deep significance. In ancient Rome, laurel was the symbol of military victory. In medieval and Renaissance Europe, laurel embodied art, poetry, creativity, and inspiration. In the folklore of Northern Africa, the laurel is a protective talisman that wards off evil spirits. In Japan, the laurel is a symbol of resilience. In China, it is a tree that instantly heals in the light of the moon. In India, the laurel signifies honor and success. In indigenous American cultures, laurel is both a ceremonial and medicinal plant, an arboreal bearer of purification and spiritual guidance. Baccalaureate is a time of looking back on your victories, dispelling the evil spirits, marking your resilience along the way, healing wounds, basking in the moonlight, lifting your spirit to a higher place, creating, making, envisioning the long path you have walked to get here, and holding these gifts close as you cross the threshold. It is a moment when you look back on your journey with a sense of pride and celebrate those mentors who walked with you. Baccalaureate is tinged with wistfulness. It is a time when you may be feeling a little sad to be leaving and a little glad about where you are going. As the classic children's author Robert McCloskey put it, this is a time of wonder. So here is my parting gift. What does this look like for you? What is your baccalaureate meme on the eve of graduation? Wear your laurel crown with pride, or, as the Renaissance poet Edmund Spenser put it eloquently in The Faerie Queene, you are bedecked with laurels, the mead of mighty conquerors' sage. May your baccalaureate meme induce all of the memories, experiences, battles, adventures, and misadventures that made you the wondrous human you are now. May it protect you as you make your way. May it ensure good health and humor. May it remind you of the journey that brought you to this place. Your Goucher community and the memories of your time here will always be with you. Farewell, and as one of my dearest high school mentors often said to my classmates and me, go forth and do great things, for yours is a story that has yet to be written. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful address. We will now have special music by Zev Israel and Dr. Belfield. will now have a litany for graduates. Graduates, please read the bolded words in your bulletin. As we prepare to go from this place, we remember this portion of our life's journey. We remember roommates and friends, teachers and mentors, coaches and administrators, and staff, and families near and far. We remember friendships made, celebrations enjoyed, promises kept, intellectual and academic accomplishments, caring and nurture given and received, and play and work, study and rest. We remember personal sorrows and traumas, conflict with family and friends, experiences of failure and fatigue, and times of struggle and confusion. We remember experiences abroad and in Baltimore, late-night conversations about things that matter and things that don't, internships and classroom time, and reflection and engagement. Our journeys will continue in new places with new friends, opportunities and challenges. May we continue to gain wisdom and experience. May we offer competence and compassion to all the endeavors of our future. May we give back to the world as we have received. I now invite friends, family, faculty, and staff to join in honoring our graduates. And friends and family, you'll read the bold text, and faculty and staff, please read what's in italics. As you all prepare to graduate tomorrow, may you remember that it is as much a commencing as a beginning, as it is an ending. May you carry with you our belief in your accomplishments and potential as you head into professional work, further study, community service, or time off. May you carry with you our belief in your abilities and character as future leaders in our communities, our schools, even our nation and our world. And may you carry with you a strong belief in yourselves as you continue to grow and learn, to give and receive. May you carry Goucher College with you always. And now for a graduation blessing. Graduates, please rise as you are able for this graduation blessing. And I also invite anyone who would like to raise a hand of blessing over our graduates as we honor their last act as students of Goucher College. Divine Spirit of our comings and goings, bless those who go forth and bless those who stay. May you who dare new adventures be safe and challenged, healthy and hopeful. May you who remain know satisfaction in your calling. May you who stay to make a home anew be renewed in your own lives. May you who depart for new homes find new loves and cares, always remembering the love you have known here. May we all be blessed in our comings and goings, and know as we depart that the same sun shines on all of us, wherever we might go. You may be seated. We will now have remarks by Rabbi Josh Snyder, followed by Imam Settles.
V'ger lo tonu, ki gerim heitem be'eretz Mitzrayim. You shall not oppress the stranger, for you yourselves were strangers in the land of Egypt. This teaching appears over 36 times in the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, making it one of Judaism's most central and enduring teachings. It speaks to the idea of a religious community needing to be an inclusive community. The same applies to a college community, All of you have come from different places, and at some time, or even at many times, we have all felt like strangers. I want to take a moment to apologize to anyone that is a part of this community that was made to feel like a stranger because of any of my actions or Hillel's actions or words this year or in prior years. I ask for your grace and your understanding as I and we strive towards inclusivity as a core value. Living out our values involves making mistakes and learning. Perhaps again, that's why it's written 36 times. As we celebrate together as a community, we honor our differences, those of ethnicity, race, religion, gender, sexuality, our differences of self, and our differences of opinion. A lot of this was already said by Sierra, much more eloquently than I can say. Baccalaureate is about taking the time to see and to honor one another as a diverse and multi-faith learning community, and to know that our learning is deeper and stronger because of our differences, not in spite of them. Through acceptance of one another as we are, we have had to learn how to better communicate, how to listen, how to understand. We take the time to understand one another's perspectives. And through this process, through this event, we behold one another with compassion. We hold one another dear as we approach the moment of commencement. We give each other grace, and we see each other in the light of this accomplishment that we share. I want to leave you with the blessing that you carry this with you out into the world. You came here once as strangers, and you leave here as a part of a greater Goucher community worldwide. Goucher graduates are different, and that's a good thing. Let your differences allow you to bring the sense of community that you've had here into the world you will inhabit. Remember to communicate. Remember to listen, to understand, to take perspective, and to be compassionate. Love the stranger, for you yourselves were strangers in the land of Goucher.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Today, I want to speak very briefly about three interrelated themes that I believe matter for the road ahead: seeking knowledge or education, responsibility and service, and character under pressure. These are themes rooted in our faith tradition, but also universal in their call. The first, seeking knowledge or education. Interestingly, some of the first, or in fact, the first verses of the Quran that were revealed were about education, seeking knowledge, learning, and understanding who the Creator is. Continue to learn, formally and informally. Humility, curiosity, and accepting truth when encountered will keep your mind alive and your work meaningful. The second, responsibility and service. Islam speaks of human beings as stewards. There's a verse in the Quran that states that وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً translates to, when your Lord said to the angels that I will place a steward or vicegerent in the earth. Being a vicegerent or steward is not about power for its own sake. It is about responsibility, caring for creation, for people, and for justice. Wherever your profession and passions lead you, ask, how will my work serve others? How will it protect dignity and promote justice? Service roots success and meaning. The third, character under pressure. The great 11th century scholar and philosopher Imam al-Ghazali spoke deeply about this connection between the mind and the world. He famously noted, knowledge without action is insanity, and action without knowledge is inconceivable. He believed that the ultimate goal of any education was to refine one's character, effect some type of change. For al-Ghazali, a true graduate is not simply someone who has memorized facts, but someone whose behavior and heart have been transformed by what they have learned. He reminds us today that your degree is not a destination, but a tool, one that requires a steady hand and a sincere heart to use well. A short practical reminder: keep learning, read widely, listen to those who disagree with you, and find out why. Guard your character. Small dishonesties become large failures. Small acts of kindness build strong communities. Care for your whole self, spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. Seek balance in community. None of us flourish alone. Put service at the center. Let success be measured by benefit, not just by title or salary. One of the prophetic traditions in the Islamic faith states that the best people, the most honorable people to Almighty God are those who are most beneficial to one another. The greatest acts to Almighty God, the great, is making someone else feel happy, removing some hardship from someone, perhaps paying the debt of a person, feeding the poor, feeding the hungry, helping the poor, walking with someone to help them fulfill their need. And it goes on to say that whoever is able to suppress their anger, then God will cover them. And whoever is able to suppress their rage, when they have the ability to carry out harm on someone else, then God will plant their feet firmly in this life and the hereafter. So a brief prayer to these graduates. Bless the road ahead of them. Make their knowledge a light and not a burden. Make their success a means of lifting others and not merely themselves. Grant them courage when the path is uncertain, wisdom when the choices are hard, and the grace to remember always that they did not arrive here alone. And as for all of us, may we be guided to use our gifts in ways that bring justice, compassion, and benefit to our families and our communities. And may we find wisdom in time of doubt, courage in times of trial, and humility in times of success. And so once again, congratulations, class Goucher College. Congratulations to the class of Goucher College. The world is waiting for you, and today we believe it is waiting for something good.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. I am now going to give the benediction, and I just want to let family and friends know that after the benediction, if you would allow the presidential party first to leave out, followed by faculty and staff and graduates, and then you all can leave out after us. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit. This benediction is inspired by the words of an African-American theologian, Howard Thurman. I consider him my spiritual godfather. So listen to these words. There is in every person something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in themselves. There is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourselves. Nobody like you has ever been born, and no one like you will ever be born again. You are the only one. So may you go forth from this place, having more clearly heard the sound of the genuine in yourself. May you go forth from this place with a greater sense of who you are and what you are called to do in this world. May you go forth from this place knowing that as you close this chapter of your life and begin another, moving from a student of Goucher to a student of life, we, your community, go with you. So go in peace, go in confidence, go in the knowledge and beauty of who you are. Amen, Ashe, and so it is. Thank you.